Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have Sanjana here with us who is currently pursuing her MBA at XLRI. She passed out of VIT in 2022 at the top of her class, and post that she worked for Microsoft for around 2 years and now she has joined XLRI. She is here to share her journey of how she got into XLRI, which as we all know is the top business school in India. So she is here to share her journey and how she got into XLRI, and she's going to guide us all on how we can do it as well, the process, how to prepare and things like that. Yeah, you can start telling us about how you decided to go for your MBA and how your journey was started.
Sure. Hi, Jishnu. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'll start with a little bit about myself. So, like Jishnu mentioned, I pursued BTech Electronics and Computer Engineering from VIT Chennai. And post that, I worked at Microsoft for 2 years as a technical consultant, specifically in the business applications domain. I wanted to pursue MBA as not just a master's program, but as cliche as it sounds, I was actually wanting to go beyond the technical work. I wanted to know how a business runs, how an organization, from the structure perspective, from the management, how is it led? What goes on behind forming those strategies, those policies? So that's what I had in mind when I decided to pursue MBA. Currently, I'm at XLRI. This is currently my second term. I'm pursuing PGDM, HRM. So it's the postgraduate diploma in human resource management here at XLRI. XLRI is a management institute, which is essentially India's oldest business school. And here we have two programs. One is the PGDM Business Management, and the other one is solely focused on human resource management, which I'm pursuing. XLRI was my top choice, essentially because it is considered Asia's best college for human resource management, and I was inclined towards HR as a subject. So that was an easy pick, and that's how I'm here now.
Okay, that's great, and thank you for sharing this with us. And how did it start? Like, what is the process of if somebody wants to apply for their MBA in XLRI? What is the process? How do they get started?
Yes. So for getting into XLRI, you have to give the XAT examination. So it's an aptitude test, another just like CAT. It is usually in January every year, and the pattern is quite similar to CAT, yet it has its own aspects. So telling you about the examination is of 3 hours. Specifically, I'm talking about the 2025 pattern, which is going to be followed now. So it is of 3 hours, where you have three sections. First is verbal ability. Second one is quantitative ability coupled with data interpretation, and the third one is decision making. The decision making section is what actually makes it different from a lot of other management tests, because this is a unique section which is followed in XAT and has almost equivalent weightage to the other two sections, which is verbal and quantitative. Also, here, unlike CAT, quantitative ability and data interpretation, which are two different sections in CAT, those are combined as one section, one single section in the XAT examination. The best thing I found about the exam was that there are no sectional timings. So you are free to utilize your entire time to attempt any of these sections during the test, which actually tests your strategy as well. So how do you balance your strong suits with what you would like to attempt? So you get the freedom to decide and choose your approach. that actually adds to the flexibility and a better attempt at the questions based on the difficulty and so on. Also, the XAT 3-hour examination includes a GK section at the end, which is not included in the percentile calculation, the scores which is used to shortlist. However, later rounds after the interview, they do consider it while selecting you for the course. So last year when I gave XAT, which is in 2024, 2024 January, there was also an essay writing section. So along with GK, there used to be an essay writing section during the same examination, but that has been taken off from this year. And the timing also, like I said, is shortened to 3 hours. So within the 3 hours, you have all the 3 sections and GK at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the
great.
examination.
Yeah. Yeah. And post the exam, you get a call for the interview. Is that how it works?
Yes. So yeah, typically within 1 month, which is January or February itself, you get the scores and you get the shortlist from XLRI. So XAT is the only test for XLRI. However, XAT scores can be used to apply to a lot of other management institutes in the country, which you will have to apply separately. But the XLRI call is attached to XAT, hence you automatically get information about the shortlist, which is an interview next.
Okay. Okay. So then, how did your interview go, and how did you prepare for it?
Right, so XLRI follows a two-stage interview process. The first one is a group discussion, and the second one is a personal interview.
Okay.
So typically both of these happen on the same day, and since I mentioned XLRI has 2 programs, right? One is business management and one is human resource management. You get shortlist for both of these separately. So you may or may not get shortlist for both or either one of them, something like that. And accordingly, you have to pick individual dates for both the shortlists. So that's what happened. I had my interviews on 2 separate days for both business management and human resource management. The first step was a group discussion, typically with 10 people in a panel, and yeah, so the topics are pretty abstract or a little situational, that based on some business idea. And then is the personal interview. The personal interview heavily focuses on just getting to know you, your work ex, your educational background, a little bit of general awareness, and just basics of who you are, and they want to know what have you learned, what do you want to do in life. So that's quite straightforward.
Okay.
Actually, another mention, before the interview, they ask the shortlisted candidates to submit an SOP. So here, the SOP they actually expect is that you have to give answers to 3 standard questions. So that happened last year. They shared a set of 3 separate questions for business management and human resource management, and they give you a day or two's time to fill it up and send it to them. Those questions also becomes the base for your personal interview. So they may pick your answers and ask you more about it during the interview. So that is also a slight evaluation that is done.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. And then after the interview, you directly receive the admit, or is there something?
Yes. Yeah. So that's about it. In like a month or 2 max, you get the final admit, which is I think followed by another month's time before you join the college.
Okay, okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing your entire journey in detail with us. And did you have any specific things that you did for preparing for the exam or for the interview? Anything that you'd like to share?
Yes, so I did prepare for my interviews. So, like I said, my first goal was to go through basic GK and general awareness, current affairs for the group discussion and the personal interview. I did take up some crash course like mock interviews from some of the coaching institutes. So I just gave a number of mock interviews, which helped me prepare of about how should I answer the questions, how should I approach a question or any situational questions. So that's just for practice. So I do recommend giving a number of mock interviews before you actually go for the actual interview. And apart from that, nothing much. You should be thorough with your educational background and the questions, the academic questions that could be asked, the basic academic questions. So I think that was my priority list. The first one was general awareness, current affairs, all of those general topics, followed by academic questions. And since I had work-ex of 2 years, usually for everyone with work-ex, the questions are heavily based on your experience at work. What did you want to improve, or what did you actually work on? What were the challenges, and so on.
Right.
So that is depending on the panel. The questions may either be inclined towards academics or work-ex.
Okay, okay, okay. That's great. Thank you so much. And I have one last question, which is, why? What do you think is the best time or work experience to pursue their MBA? Like you chose 2 years after 2 years, right? So do you think that is the ideal time for doing the MBA?
I think this is a very subjective question, but answering from my experience and what I'm going through here, I totally believe somewhere post 2 years, 2 or 2 plus years, is an ideal time to pursue an MBA. I would not say freshers cannot get through or it's not a great learning experience for them. It definitely is in certain ways, but when you come from work-ex, which takes a little bit of time to develop, right? So 2 years is some substantial amount of time, and the more the better, obviously. But that experience actually gives you a context to all those business organization discussions that go on in class. You have a context you have a context in your mind. You can refer to that. You can imagine, right, this is what I went through or this is what I saw. So you have relevant experiences to share and discuss. So
Okay,
definitely 2 plus years of experience is recommended for an MBA.
okay. Okay, thank you so much, Sanjana, for joining and sharing all the things that you did. I'm sure it's going to help many people. And yes, thank you so much.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Okay, I stopped recording.